Hey, Magic friends, welcome back. This is your captain speaking here on Captain Clyde's MTG, and it's time for the midweek market watch. That's right, we're going to take a look at what kind of cards are moving in the market from the previous week. As usual, since Phyrexia All Will Be 69 of your face is not yet out, the market moving on that is insane as it's going up and down constantly. So I'm gonna leave a lot of those out now. One did make it into the market watch this week, and I'll tell you why once we get there. But before we get started on the market watch, don't forget to subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and I appreciate all the help and support from all you guys out there who already have. So let's get started with the midweek market watch. Top five for this week. We're going to start with the winners this time. And winner number one, we have Quest for the Pure Flame. Uh, so this spell here is went from 45 cents to 2.99. That's a 564.44% increase in price. I know it doesn't look like that, but it really is. This has got real hot with the new All for One red card that's coming out now in Phyrexia All Will Be One. It's 5 mana, and when you deal damage to an opponent, it starts the combo with this card, and it's literally a 2 card combo. Commander loves it, everybody loves it, everybody's specking on it, so everybody's going to see this card probably start getting played in lots of decks. It says here, when a source you control deals damage to an opponent, you may put a quest counter on this, remove 4 quest counters, uh, Pure Flame, and sacrifice. If any source you control will deal damage to a creature or player this turn, it deals double that damage instead of that creature. It's part of the combo. So that's what got this one moving on the market this week, as everybody starts out looking for more Phyrexia All as One combos. So number two on the card this week is we have, that's right, Slicer the Hired Muscle. This one in particular is the Shattered Glass version. This has went from $9.11 to $49.48. That is insanely large. 443.14% increase in price. As you can see here, Slicer has become a very popular card in Commander in several decks. And with this Shattered Glass version being very hard to come across, the foil version's up around $500. It is really insane. And I'm not going to lie, I opened a whole case and I got 2 or 3 Shattered Glass, and Slicer Hired Muscle was not one of them. So, these Shattered Glass from Brothers War are truly rare, and I just see the prices on these things that are just going to keep going up. All right, moving on to number three, we have the War Elemental. Again, this is part of the combo with Quest for Fire and All is One. It says here, when the War Elemental comes into play, you sacrifice unless an opponent was dealt damage this turn. Whenever damage is dealt to an opponent, put that many +1/+1 counters on the War Elemental. Um, People are trying this in that other deck for Commander where the All is One combo goes off. So it's went from $1.24 up to $3.96, but it is a 220%, 16% increase. And as usual, these aren't market manipulations. These are people actually specking on cards that they think are going to go up, not buyouts. So moving on, next we have Spellskite. Now this particular Spellskite is from Secret Lair, and that's something to talk about because I normally don't cover Secret Lair cards, so they normally just decline. But this one in particular is going up. This one went from $7.26 up to 22. That's a 203% and 0.03% increase. Reason why, as you know, Spellskite has been eroded. As you can see here, it is a Phyrexian horror and will play well in those Commander Phyrexian decks as it gets hot once again. This was a hot card for a long time. Kind of fell off the map there for a little while, but with Phyrexia being out, everybody's respecing on these old cards that are now errata to be Phyrexians. Next, we have Tyvar Jubilant Brawler. That's right, I put Tyvar in here from All Is One because he was a $5 card and he was going down for a little bit. He has spiked back up to $11.28. That's a 107.73% increase. People are starting to realize 3 mana Planeswalkers are never anything to trifle with. And the fact that it says here you may activate abilities of creatures you control as though they had haste, that means all your mana creatures have haste. That means all your creature abilities have haste. Plus, untap up to 1 target creature you control. This is big in ramp. And not to mention the mill 3 cards, return a creature card 2 or less from the graveyard. This has lots of promise. So, it's not been talked about a whole lot yet, but someone's figured something out because this thing's getting pricey quick. So that's the top 5 winners of the week. Now, unfortunately, we have to go to the loser column. And the first one we have here is, believe it or not, Mirror Turbine. If you watched last week's episode, you know Mirror Turbine and a lot of the mirror cards in general have been on the rise due to the Phyrexian and the mirrors that are coming out in the set. But I think it might have been peaked and people are starting to back up off of it as they look at other cards, and the fact that maybe people are starting to realize the mirror decks either aren't good or people are starting to pull these out of their old binders and they're flooding the market with it. So this went from $14.94 to $10.99. It's a 26.44% decrease. Not too bad. Still a popular card, still a lot higher than it has been. We have Moloch. It's seen a severe decline. This Tyranid from the 40K set was up to $12.79. It's down $4.48, down to $4.48. That is a 33.70% decrease. Don't know what the drop off with this is. Probably the fact that now that Phyrexian's coming out, new commander cards and what have you, this is kind of falling off the map as no longer the new kid on the block. Next we have Arcbound Cruiser for some reason. Made the list. Don't ask me why. But this bad boy used to be $5.09. That's an uncommon. Has went down to $3.76. That's 26.13% decrease. It has modular 1, so for 4 mana, when an artifact comes into play, this gets a +1/+1 counter when it dies. Modular moves all those counters to another creature. Honestly, this saw a little bit of an uptick when Phyrexian came out, Brothers War, with all the artifact shenanigans going on. But at the end of the day, it's just not putting up the numbers that people want it to. At 1/1 for 4, just ain't gonna cut it. So moving on, next we have Counterbalance. That's right, Counterbalance is on the decline. It has been on the upswing for a while. It was 46.69, down to 35.35 at 24.44% decrease. Several reasons have happened for this. Counterbalance is still a widely played card in several formats. However, the new Secret Lair drop has Counterbalance in it, and I'm not going to lie, that's probably the most definite reason this price is dropping severely. The new Counterbalance, in my vision, isn't as pretty as it could be, but just the ability that, this card is $46. For literally $40, you can get a foil version of the new art Counterbalance plus 3 other cards. It's gonna make this card really take a pounding. When you can just spend the exact same amount of money and get 4 cards in foil and mint, because this is an older card, harder to find in good condition. So we'll keep going. Next, Goblin Welder. Here's another one suffering from the Brothers War not being in the spotlight anymore. This had a lot of going up muscle when Brothers War and all the artifacts started coming out. We thought the same thing about Phyrexia, and Phyrexia does have a lot of artifacts, but it's just not what we were expecting, as a lot of other good synergies have come out of Phyrexia. So Goblin Welder is taking a little bit of a hit from that. Went from $37.99 down to $30.61. That's a 19.43% decrease in price. And again, mainly because Brothers War is now out of the spotlight. We're moving on to Phyrexia. It's the new big thing. Not a lot of artifacts in the set that plays well with Goblin Welder. The Welder really got popular in Brothers War because of all the reprints of things like Howling Mine and what have you, plus the fact that there was just artifacts galore in that set. So now the price is starting to dip back down a little bit, mainly because, again, we're moving on to Phyrexia and all new things. So, with that said, guys, that is the end of the Market Watch for the week. That's the 5 winners and 5 losers. I want to thank you for watching. And one last thing I want to say. As you saw, the normal midweek Market Watch that we do normally has some pretty big losers and pretty big winners. The losers this week are mid to 30 to 20%. That's a really high uptick from what normally it being anywhere from 100 to 200% down, 200% up. I mean, wild market swings. I think this is showing there's going to be some stabilization to the market, and the market's probably coming to its bottom finally. It could be wrong. We're just sampling a few cards, but you got to realize if I'm taking the highest on both ends, everything else in the middle's got to be lower in between. So maybe we have finally found it. So With all that said, guys, thanks a lot for watching. If you also want to support the channel, links in the description to the Patreon page, eBay store, and my email. Until next time, be kind, and as always, I hope to see you across from the game table.